He came every morning at 5:30 a.m. He never spoke. He chose the same lane, swam at the same pace, and after exactly 1,200 meters, he would lift his head, grab his towel, get dressed quietly, and leave. Nobody greeted him because he didn't greet anyone. He just swam. The Preston Community Center was located in the small but affluent Fairfax County, Virginia. The swimming pool was bustling on weekends with kids' parties and weekday mornings with fitness swimmers. But this man was different. Nobody knew his name. Nobody cared about his identity. He was just there. He had distinguished, gracefully aged facial features, alert gray eyes, and a pale but focused gaze. He always wore the same blue Adidas swimsuit and a white swim cap. No goggles. He never seemed to need them. His technique was flawless. Every movement, every breath was measured. It was as if he were a machine operating. But inside this machine lay the experience of a century. This morning was a little different. Jake Morrison, the young marketing manager from Prestige Fitness, had come to the gym for a new campaign. Wanting to gauge the early morning motivation of the staff and feel the atmosphere of the facility, he had woken up early and stopped by the pool. But there was only one man in the pool, and this man's swimming style caught his attention. Jake sat down by the poolside, coffee in hand, and started watching the man. At first glance, he looked ordinary, but after a few laps, Jake noticed something. The man's every stroke was planned to displace the minimum amount of water. His breathing, his body position, his turns, everything was professional. But it wasn't just professionalism. This was discipline shaped by military training. Jake looked across the pool at a group of young swimmers, university students, making plenty of noise and laughing loudly. But there was a sense of serenity around the old man, a kind of respect. Jake felt it, but he didn't understand why. The man finished his 1,200-meter swim and pulled up alongside the pool edge. Jake immediately got up and walked over to him. The man looked at Jake but said nothing. He just waited. Jake gathered his courage. "Excuse me, sir. Your swimming style was very impressive. Were you professional?" The man slowly nodded. Once, Jake's curiosity grew. "In what field?" The man hesitated for a moment. Shadows of the past flickered in his eyes. Then he said quietly, "Navy SEAL." Jake's eyes widened in amazement. "Really?" The man smiled. But this smile was like an accumulation of years. Cold, simple, but profound. "Yes, but not anymore." "Jake, may I ask your name?" The man was silent for a while. He looked up at the sky. Then he looked back at Jake. "Nobody here knows me, and I don't want to know anyone." Jake was a little taken aback by this answer, but his curiosity about the man's past had only grown. "Can I ask you a question?" The man, "You can't." "Jake, why are you here? Why the same time every morning?" The man looked around silently. Nobody was listening. As if he had been waiting for this question for years, he took a deep breath. "Because I find peace here, and because nobody here judges me by my past." "Jake, is there something about your past?" The man was silent longer this time. There was a sadness in his eye. Then he said slowly, "Once, I had a very important mission. It was very dangerous, and I made a mistake. Because of that mistake, many people lost their lives." "Jake, will you tell the story?" The man shook his head from side to side. "No, because telling that story would dishonor the memory of those people. I just want to swim here, and I don't want to talk to anyone." Jake, although disappointed by this answer, felt his curiosity about the man's past had grown even more. "Can I help you?" The man smiled this time, but this smile was warmer. "No, but thank you." Jake left the man's side, but he felt he wanted to learn more about it. That day, he returned to the office and started researching old military records on the internet. And he noticed something. The name of the old man swimming at the Preston Community Center was registered in the records as John Smith. But thinking about the man's swimming style and his answers, Jake felt this name couldn't be right. That night, when he got home, he started researching old military operations on the internet. And he found something. In 1991, during an operation in Iraq, a SEAL team had gone missing. The team leader was Commander David Hayes. Hayes had gone missing during a very dangerous mission. His body was never found. Jake couldn't sleep all night. The next morning, he got up early again and went to the pool. The old man was there again. Jake walked over to him. "David Hayes?" he asked. The man was surprised this time. Fear appeared in his eye. "Who are you?" "Jake, I'm Jake Morrison. I want to help you." The man, "You can't help me." "Jake, why?" The man, "Because those who find me always get into danger." "Jake, I'm not afraid." The man looked at Jake with deeper meaning this time. "Then be careful, because some stories, when told, summon darkness." Jake was a little scared by these words, but his curiosity had grown even more. That day, he continued researching old military records at the office, and he found something else. The files about the operation where Hayes went missing were still classified, but some parts had been leaked. As Jake examined these parts, he thought that Hayes might not be dead after all. Maybe he was still alive, and maybe the man swimming at the Preston Community Center was Hayes. That evening, Jake made a decision. He would approach Hayes and learn his path, but in doing so, he would not put himself in danger. The next morning, he got up early again and went to the pool. The old man was there again. Jake walked over to him. "I want to show you something," he said. The man, "What?" Jake took a photo from his cell phone. The photo was of the SEAL team that went missing in Iraq in 1991, and the team leader looked very much like the old man. When the man saw the photo, his eyes widened in amazement. This is me." "Jake, are you David Hayes?" The man didn't object this time. "Yes, I am David Hayes." "Jake, what happened to you?" "Hayes, that day, we were on a very dangerous mission. We were deep in Iraq, and we fell into a trap. Most of my team lost their lives. I was the only one who could escape, but while escaping, an IED exploded. After the explosion, I lost consciousness. I woke up a few days later, and I was alone in a desert. I couldn't remember how I got there. I only remembered how to swim, and I kept swimming. Eventually, I reached a shore. I was rescued from there, but I couldn't remember my identity. I only remembered my name, David, and one other thing I remember. I had to swim." "Jake, and then?" "Hayes, I stayed in the hospital for a while. Then I went to a rehabilitation center. There I got physical therapy, and I did swimming training. Over time, I remembered my identity, but I didn't tell anyone, because everything about that operation was classified, and those who found me could be in danger." "Jake, but now everything is changed. Now no one can harm you." "Hayes, are you sure?" "Jake, yes, because now you're not alone." Hayes was touched by these words. Tears appeared in his eyes. No one had ever said these words to me. "Jake, now I'm saying them, and I want to say one more thing to you. Your story is a story that needs to be told. People shouldn't forget heroes like you." "Hayes, but I'm not a hero. I made a mistake, and because of that mistake, many people lost their lives." "Jake, no, you are a hero, because you survived, and now you are here. That is the greatest heroism." Hayes was very touched by these words. The tears in his eyes could no longer be held back. "Jake, can I ask you one more thing?" "Hayes, you can." "Jake, why do you keep swimming here?" Hayes was silent for a while. He looked up at the sky. Then he looked back at Jake. "Because I find peace here, and because nobody here judges me by my past. But now, maybe I deserve a little more." Jake smiled. "Yes, you deserve it." That day, both of them continued swimming in the pool. But this time, Jake was swimming alongside Hayes. And Hayes, for the first time in a long time, swam with someone else. That day, something changed at the Preston Community Center. The pool was no longer just a swimming pool. Now it was a story. And this story was being told by David Hayes and Jake Morrison. And perhaps, this story would remind many people of what they had forgotten. That heroes don't always emerge with victory, sometimes with the will to survive.